Welcome back, everybody, to the 2022 NXL World Cup. I'm Vince, Let's Talk Paintball, joined here by Steve from SVP Paintball. You can find him on YouTube making some great videos and breakdowns. So we have an amazing set coming up right now. We have A-Team right now taking on... Oh, I'm sorry, Blast Camp taking on Crisis, and A-Team taking on Royal City Seadogs. So we've had a ton of semi-pro action already this morning. If you missed that, you could go back and re-watch it on the NXL Facebook page and their YouTube. They'll be available for all of you out there. But kind of two storylines setting up right now. So A-Team and Seadogs, they're really fighting for positioning, first and second, in their bracket, okay? So both of them pretty guaranteed to get in at this point, right? Now, on the flip side, Blast Camp and Crisis having a hard day. I believe Crisis is going to be out based on how they performed. And Blast Camp, big news there. Blast Camp going 1-2, and I believe with the points differential, they may not make it on the Sunday, which could put their first place spot to go into pro at risk right now. Something similar happened last year, I believe, at World Cup, where they didn't get that spot as well due to a bad performance. So uncharacteristic of Blast Camp potentially getting knocked out in World Cup, the event they need to win.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to make this tournament a learning experience, or if they're still going to give it their all, or how they're going to perform really at this last game where, like you said, they don't seem to have any shot making it in. A-Team and Seadogs both looking really strong. Got a chance to watch some of their games. They're going to both come out swinging, I'm pretty sure. And I'll be very curious to see which team decides to launch up the middle right away, and I'm super curious to see how they handle that middle puzzle that we've been seeing play out in this semi-pro games. Yeah,
so A-Team losing both of their Snake players to pro teams. So Justin Kim going up, and I believe getting a little bit of a experience there with Houston Heat. Not sure if he's actually going to get some play time, but Ethan Adams, automatic starter right now with Revo. So A-Team came into this event with pretty much none of their Snake, veterans. So on the flip side, though, Royal City Seadogs fighting through all of the chaos, and now they look really good. I mean, this Seadogs, they don't play paintball 6 months of the year because of the Canadian weather, and there's no indoor where they're at.
Oh, wow.
So they come into the first event of the year in Florida playing 2 weeks of paintball.
That is incredible. I remember watching Seadogs enter the semi-pro division last year, and they definitely had some things to learn from that experience, but it looks like they put it together because, man, they've been given a great performance this weekend from what little I've seen. But very surprising and very impressive from A-Team to lose two of those star players to the pro division, but good on them for staying in it, really, given the performance that they've been giving. So
great shot there. You can see the whole venue that we have right now. Amazing trade show. All of our sponsors have huge tents out here. If you want to come out and watch some great action here live and free, we do have a VIP area, which you can see there, one of the white tents next to the field to come out and watch all the semi-pro and WNXL action. This will be the last semi-pro set of the day as we'll start moving into the WNXL side of things as well. So a lot of great action that's happened so far this morning. And one of the things that, Carolina Crisis side, Carolina Crisis lost a close one to the Droogs due to a penalty. So it was 4-4 all tied up. Crisis gets a questionable pack hit in their opinion, which caused the major penalty under 60 seconds, which gives Droogs the win. So big win from the Droogs there.
So you say they're 1-2 going into this series, correct?
Yes. So I believe Carolina Crisis, looking at the charts, is 1-2, sitting in that fourth place spot in their bracket. Royal City Seadogs, though, and A-Team both undefeated right now.
Wow, what a good match to watch then. My goodness.
So right now they're just playing for positioning to see who's going to get that bye.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think if that's the case, if they're automatically in on Sunday, I feel like you got to try some moves to figure out what works and what doesn't, especially against the teams that you're playing in this match right now. This is a good time to kind of figure out, if you haven't, to try certain moves. I know that at least for the teams that I was working with this weekend, we found some success breaking out to that Dorito side, drawing those guns high, and then taking that deep route into the Dorito 2 because those shots are going too high. But obviously, that's tough when every single team is going up the middle, this weekend. So depending on which direction that middle guy ends up looking off the break can really kind of make or break that play. But
so as we're looking right now, so some of the key spots that we're going to keep an eye on here are those two large wedges on the snake side of the field. You can see the ref cleaning one of them off on the blue side. And then also that very large center structure there. Ton of bang-bang action play going on there. So that's kind of been, who can get there first and who can run through and get those kills. We've also seen a ton of runs from the wedge to the wedge and going on the other side of the field. So this field, the paintball gods have blessed us with an amazing, aggressive field for World Cup here. We've seen a ton of action. But most of the play has been on that middle over to the Dorito side. But don't sleep on the snake, though. We've had some great points where a player has been able to get into that snake one, which is that little W, the very beginning of the snake, past those knuckles. And once you get past the set of the blue knuckles and then get into the red knuckles in this situation, you get backs and pod packs all day long.
Next packs and backs, baby. That's what you're looking for.
The only drawback on this is because of the shot that center, that wedge has on the snake. If you stop in a vicarious situation, you're going to get blown up, and everyone's going to know where you're at. So lots of great strategies going down. Now, we have seen some slower games on Saturday, for example, that we did not see on Friday. The field has slowed down quite a bit because teams are trying to figure out, how am I going to play Sunday paintball?
Yeah, it's interesting to see a lot of these teams break out to that juice box snake side, break out to that snake side wedge. And when you do that so many times, it frees up the shots essentially from the snake side towards the Doritos, which you can kind of play off of that a little bit. If you go 2 or 3 points in a row, stopping in the juice box on the snake, you're going to probably cause your opponents to shoot the other way, which then kind of frees up some of those moves towards the snake side Aztec and right into the snake off break. So I've seen a few pro teams and a few semi-pro teams take that inside route from the start box, essentially using the snake side wedge to blind and then get right into the snake off break. That's a hard move to make blindly. You definitely want to make that an informed decision, but that definitely is a move that can work if you start to draw too much attention on the Dorito side.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that I do as far as the social media side, try to build these stories up and everything on Let's Talk Paintball, is the kind of breaking news. You give a lot of strategy with your experience. So kind of give us a little bit of background on SVP Paintball.
Sure, yeah. So I've been playing the sport. I've been a student of the sport, I should say, but I have been playing for almost 20 years now. So I'm getting kind of old. I'm 31, which I don't mean to be saying that. But
no, in paintball, though, that paintball days, it is getting up there a little bit, right?
Yeah, I feel it. So, but yeah, I've been playing the game for a long time. I've always been a very analytical person. Prior to paintball, well, actually simultaneously with paintball, I used to compete in esports, so Halo mostly, and I coached and played at a semi-professional level. And a lot of the stuff that you learn in video games and esports are really applicable to paintball. I just never did a YouTube channel with paintball. I did a lot of streaming content when I was younger, but what I noticed in the paintball space is that just people like to keep their secrets. They, not to call anybody out, but they like to hide them behind paintwalls. And, as a kid, it was really hard to figure out how to play a certain position correctly, or the fact that there was even positions to be considered, right? Back in the day, as you would know, it's like, oh, I play the front, or I play the mid, or I play the back center, or something like that. And certainly paintball's evolved a lot since then. But what we didn't have pacing with that evolution was educational content. And so, this last couple of years, I've gotten a lot of experience having chances to play against a lot of pro teams and learning from that. We played the semi-pro season with Utah Bro Army last year. But this year, we kind of took a step back. A lot of our players are doing real-life things, having babies, buying houses. And I decided to retire in July and focus on coaching and doing content and trying to help the community and the sport, and it's been wonderful. The people are real. Everybody's been really nice, coming up to me saying how much of a difference they feel like my content's made, and I do it all for free. So it makes me really happy to see the differences being made.
Yeah, you had an amazing World Cup breakdown video that's actually blown up pretty well on YouTube
it has,
right now.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Ton of people watching it. So give us the cliff notes here on that strategy. What were you thinking was going to work on this field?
Well, certainly I'll say that for anybody who's watched that breakdown, that's obviously prior to anybody's playing. The only team that ever really plays in the entire country is like Blast Camp on Wednesdays, right? So a lot of what I try to do is propose theories to then go test and find out if those work. it's really, really important that first weekend that you not only just get reps, but you figure out what are the bounds of what you can get away with, right? And that's going to be different based on the division you play. So I've certainly learned a lot as I've actually seen these teams play, and there's a lot of assumptions that I made that were true and some that weren't true. I've been surprised at how slow the snake side has been, only because I felt like the snake side is one you can make, but you have to do it deliberately. You have to cause a reason to draw the middle gun over towards the Doritos. Otherwise, you're just taking a gamble that you don't have any idea how it's going to pan out. I am unsurprised at how strong the Dorito side is. I kind of felt that, and I said this in my video, but I kind of felt that if you get into the snake unmatched and there's nobody in that snake side wedge to stop you, you're going all the way, and you're winning the team. You're winning the point for your team, and we've certainly seen that. But what we're struggling to see is the teams holding, that snake side juice box or the back center from breaking out to the corner. Because when that happens, then that push is totally mute. They can't make it anymore. And so I have seen a few points in the semi-pro field that I'm very impressed by, where you're essentially getting in a one-on-one fight with anybody in the snake to the corner, and the guy's literally crawling, shooting at the guy heads up.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people do that because you know what? Sometimes you got to put it together to win, and depending on what the situation is, what the score is, what the time is left, I've been really impressed by that. But generally speaking, you're going to see a lot of people, as we've seen in the stream before, breaking out to the snake side juice box, going up to the snake side wedge. The direction that they go is going to depend on how many guns are up the middle or which direction those guns are going. So we'll probably see a lot of double up on the home, and then either side pushing up to that center can, and then probably breaking out to the snake side wedge, or rather going into the middle. Just kind of depends on what sort of punches they want to make that way. A lot of the decisions on that are just based on, again, getting data. Like, are they breaking to the corner? The snake side corner is pretty safe to make because a lot of the paint is going low on the snake side. And so if you go to the corner, do you send your snake side wedge off the break looking for that? The last thing is really just the Dorito side is really heads up. That small Dorito that I think probably most people call baby is pretty safe to make, and there's really two routes you can do to make it. You can go inside in between the tall tower and the mini W, which is kind of the faster route. There are shots to shoot it, but you can make that, and it's pretty safe. And then the alternative is to go around the tall tower into it straight heads up. That's a hard bunker to get out of is the problem. It's an easy one to make, really hard to get out of. So a lot of the times what you'll see if you were here at the event, you can hear coaches making calls essentially telling their players which side the home's looking. Yep. So most common thing you'll hear is probably 23 or 32, just whichever direction you're looking on the field. 23 is the guys looking right, 32 is the guys looking left, right? And so when you make that call, sometimes you'll have plans or contingencies where you'll say, all right, our number one in the Dorito, you're going to go to the baby and you're going to take the fast route. If you hear 23, so the guy's looking your way, then you got to pull short to the baby. But if you hear 32, you need to go to that insert Dorito, that essentially the Dorito 2 in this case, right? And so that's where a lot of the moves are going to be made, or how they're going to be made safely, right? There's also some times in which you see that Dorito corner that's really safe to make in some cases. Draw those guns high, like I said. Make that move go low. As long as the middle's not looking at you, it's a pretty solid move. So
what an amazing breakdown here from SVP Paintball. So while we're waiting for this technical timeout right now, we're going to go to a commercial break. So stay tuned for this last part of the semi-pro bracket, and then we will move into the WNXL after that. So again, I'm Vince from Let's Talk Paintball. We're going to be joined here for this semi-pro match by Steve from SVP. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
I feel like there's always been a general culture of, oh, they're just women, I don't think a lot of people take women seriously when they play against them. They certainly feel bothered when they get shot by women. But we have the stage now to show that we can play, but not just that we can play, but that we can play well.
I've heard the word surreal being used a lot, and that's really true. I don't think anybody ever expected anything like this to happen. It wasn't something.
I'm gonna have to charge some Sandana for the late fee here. All right, after a quick commercial break, we are back at the 2022 NXL World Cup here on the Premier Field outside Orlando, Florida, here in Kissimmee. So we have a great set for you here. I'm joined by Steve from SVP. We're going to be talking through the A-Team versus the Seadogs match, Royal City Seadogs from Canada. I almost said Seattle Thunder.
So, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, and then also in this set, it's going to be Blast Camp and A-Team. So super excited for this. Definite Sunday positioning implications here for these two teams right now. So on your screen, we have A-Team here. Big breakout here. Going to go all the way up to the center, just like you were talking about, that getting into that wedge.
Yeah, they look like they sent two up the center, which is sometimes an option if you really want to keep them from going wide on both sides of the field. Otherwise, you really have to make a decision on which side you want to stop from moving. But wow, A-Team getting really strong positioning. It looks like they're still 5 alive, but I think Seadogs just lost a body here off the break out of the snake side of the field. That mini W is going to be holding that cross, looking snake side most of the game and probably most of the series. So I'll be curious to see if we really are going to see any action on the snake side if people are staying dedicated on that lane.
So 2 players now moving up to the wall there on A-Team. A-Team in the black and red jerseys. Seadogs are going to be in the grayish blue jerseys.
That looks like, yeah, like you said, double up in the wall. Seadogs losing another player here. It's going to be a hard point to pull out, but hey, look, A-Team losing a player out of the middle and another player on the Dorito side, it looks like. I believe it's 33 right now. I can't see the Dorito player just yet.
So 33 meaning?
There's 3 bodies alive on either side, yep. That's a good question. I sometimes say these things without thinking.
So A-Team does lose 2 walking out there. So right now we're trying to see. So we have one in the Dorito. We have Hartman here in the juice box on the snake side, and we also have a player in the wall.
Yeah, it looks like a solid move from A-Team moving up the Dorito side. It's kind of a, the middle guy here on A-Team is kind of dedicated to keeping this snake side juice box from moving. However, his heads up is actually looking cross to protect his middle guy. So A-Team, I think, doing a bit of a better strategy here to kind of pull out the win. Sometimes, in these situations, you can sit back to let the point play out, but other times you really need to kind of put it together to pull out the win.
Absolutely. So, the nice thing about this Premier Field is we garner all the attention. We have Henry Sentz, pro player from Revo here, watching these games go down. The fan of semi-pro paintball. Recently picked up Ethan Adams from A-Team, so
can't go wrong watching some semi-pro, man. Royal City Seadogs getting a minor.
Oh,
I'm not sure for what reason.
Oh, it looks like Hartman gets shot, making a sloppy bump going through. Didn't check off in that inside lane, but I'm sorry, Hartman's in the snake. Apologize, whoever was in the center.
Way for A-Team to pull it out here. A strong point for them. Again, they sent 2 up the middle, looking either side. I believe Seadogs sent their guy up the middle, looking Dorito way, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, the black on black jerseys with the red highlight. Kind of hard to read last names a little bit, so apologize, Hartman. Henry's out here. Sir, I'm gonna need you to go past the white line over
We're getting accosted over here.
Yeah,
trying to commentate.
No, Henry from Revo, great player, great guy. Have the yellow gold grills too out there. So if you weren't able to pick some up, make sure you go out there and try to grab some. They look amazing. Yes, so we were able to show them off the last event. They look really nice.
That's awesome. That is
Henry, what color is that mask technically? It's a tan color.
Interesting.
All right, so on right now, Blast Camp taking on Crisis.
Ooh, move up the middle. Blast Camp losing one off the break, but we do see that snake side wedge being matched by both teams right now. I believe Crisis has 5 alive.
So Garrity and Soap right now in the wall together, trying to figure out how they can get that body. Looks like a 5-on-5 breakout. Haven't seen any of the Crisis player walk off. Now, Crisis, I believe, is knocked out no matter what. So right now they're trying to play the spoiler as Blast Camp is 1-2. Penalty on Crisis right now on Eddie Dawes. So it looks like he's going to take the walk, but they are getting into the snake. Looks like they're able to make it in clean. So Garrity on Crisis side of the field already coming through.
That snake side wedge going down.
Oh!
Looks like Soap aware.
Great job by Soap, putting a couple extra on the Crisis player, walking down, just controlling the field.
Strong first point out of Blast Camp. I know they're kind of feeling down and out a little bit, but if they can pull out this win, maybe with a good margin, I don't remember. Did you say they had a shot, or?
I think they have to mercy rule win in order to have even a shot at essentially making it in. But based on how points margins sit right now, Blast Camp may be out of the tournament, which I mean puts their pro spot. I think it's done. Or I think it's at high risk right now.
Yeah, especially with how strong PB Fit's been playing this event. I mean, they're poised to take top 2, top 3 finish for sure, if not first place. But.
World Cup worth double points.
Oh.
And with World Cup being worth double points, even though Blast Camp has taken 3 first places this year, unfortunately, with the way how close the points are, if they don't win this or win it big, it could be a chance that they don't make it in. But for this set, though, we have Seadogs here looking at himself, checking, didn't get hit. A-Team flying through right now. Big push up to that center can. Seadogs trying to lock things down right now.
Seadogs losing 2 players. I'm not quite sure from where, but I think the
Dorito
home.
side.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds.
They lost one from the home and lost from their Dorito runner, it looked like.
Sounds about right. And again, A-Team pushing 2 in the middle. I'll be curious to see if both sets end up pushing 2 in the middle as a way to respond to this. It's kind of hard to dig those players out.
Seadogs losing another one, so 2 on 4 right now as Hartman takes the walk for A-Team. But big bump there on the Dorito side, all the way from Dorito 1 straight into Dorito 4. Two players in the wall structure there in the middle for A-Team. So, yeah, definitely in this situation, A-Team in the driver's seat.
Real hard to dig those guys out of there, and I would agree. A-Team is kind of in control of this match, just kind of waiting for any inch that is going to be given them to kind of close this point out. But the tough part is, this is, depending on how long this point takes, it might just be an A-Team win, and all, regardless. Okay, there you go. Another player dies. They call the towel. Good move. Good move on the coach from Royal City Seadogs.
Yeah, so if you're just now tuning in, we don't have a scoreboard right now. The techs are working on that. But right now it is going to be, who scored that point?
A-Team just won that point.
So A-Team is going to be up 2-0 against the Seadogs. Blast Camp 1-0 on Crisis. So right now trying to rally some sort of mercy rule win. Blast Camp just hard tournament for them. They don't seem like the Blast Camp of usual. I mean, they seem very serious. They're not having fun right now.
Really surprised by their performance, but I think a lot of it is just they've kind of gotten down and out on themselves a little bit here. But they have a home delaying or staying back center. It looks like they're pushing up to that middle can. 2 in the Dorito side and another one out in that snake side juice box. Pretty standard breakout. Carolina Crisis, however, sending a guy out to that snake side wedge. Looks like a guy in the Dorito corner, Dorito tower, back center, and snake side juice box. So pretty well mirrored almost on the snake side, with the exception of Blast Camp's middle can guys looking Dorito way. So now Crisis responds, sending their home guy out to that can, both looking snake way. I'm not sure if they're trying to put together if there's somebody in that center wall or not. I know you guys can't see, obviously, the opposite side of the field here from this perspective, but looks like the point is developing pretty well. Another 2 moves right now. The corner guy breaking up to that Dorito 1, and now the can getting up to the center wall, looking for those shots on the Dorito side. And now Blast Camp getting out of that can, filling out to that snake side wedge to try and match. It looks like neither team is really interested in pushing the snake side and getting there. It's really hard to do when you do have those guys in that snake side wedge looking heads up. So Carolina Crisis now moving in to the Aztec insert bunker, trying to win that heads up fight, and does get into the snake. Dead. Does not make it, unfortunately. So he is eliminated. I think it is 45, and now another player is getting called.
So got to be careful right now not to get a penalty, as the ref was looking for it. But Crisis player going to be fine. So Garrity in the wedge right there on the snake side. Crisis player in front of him.
I'm wondering who's holding the containment on. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say, I wonder who's holding the containment on the snake side if he's looking cross from that snake side wedge, but doesn't seem to matter now. Except there's another player alive still left on Crisis. Eliminated him, it looks like. I believe that's another Crisis win, or rather, Crisis' first win of the series, so it'll be 1-1 here, it looks like.
All right, so trying to figure out there what... A little bit of chaos at the last second.
Yeah, I believe Blastcamp had another body, but I'm not sure because it's looking like Crisis won that point. He was. So, I didn't know if they traded out of the, from this 50s snake side with the Dorito player, or if the Crisis Dorito player stayed alive.
So a little bit of a confusion point here. Trying to figure out. Ultimate's trying to figure out. So we're trying to listen in right now. So Ultimate's talking to Virgil. So this race is so close right now with points. Blastcamp sitting in 5th in their bracket right now at a negative 1.67 margin. If they are able to get the mercy rule, that could potentially put them in a positive points margin, but it's really going to dictate essentially how the Droogs game works out. And because right now we only have 5, 6, we have 7 teams with a positive points margin.
Oh, wow.
So Blastcamp, if they mercy rule, they could be the 8th.
Another double push from A-Team here, both going up to the can and the snakeside wedge. Again, splitting those guns, making sure that they're covering both angles. So both teams are really struggling to get out wide in these games as they're pushing both people up the middle, and it looks like we still have just one. Oh, 2 back center now filling out after they lose that Dorito side tower. I'd like to see a bit more risk-taking with some shots heading up the middle to make those center guys a little more uncomfortable. That's kind of the way that you're going to be able to earn those outside moves, is making sure that the number 2s essentially on either side of the field, the guys playing in the midfield on either side, break out and shoot heads up, at least for their first 3 to 5 balls. It's really important to get those shots in there before you try to make crazy moves.
All right, and as you can see right now on your screen, they need to try to work through this game plan. They're talking to each other. They're trying to pinch this point out. They are down by 1 right now.
Correct. Yeah, it looks like this point's going to be a long one here. Oh, I don't know who killed that Royal City Seadogs player.
Great job there. Looked like a cross shot from the Dorito side was able to get in.
Yeah,
when
you get established in that Dorito, especially if you're not able to move because for whatever reason somebody's holding that zone on you, then looking inside for any of those secondary moves up the middle is really, really strong, and that looks like what Royal City Seadogs fell trapped to.
So here, as you can see on your screen, A-Team both shooting the same direction, switching guns, trying to get that easy drop shot. There's so many different angles, drop shots, bounce shots on this field right now. So if you see a player shooting at something they may not, you may not, know or kind of make sense, it's because there's probably an angle or some sort of game plan they're trying to shoot.
Yeah, and most notably is that pin in between the wall and that juice box laying down just in front of your camera here. Those bunkers are covered in paint, not because players are bad shots, but simply because, another player going off for A-Team out of the Snakeside can, it looks like, or Snakeside juice box, excuse me. But now we have 2 players out of A-Team in the wall and another player in the Doritos applying a lot of pressure on Seadogs right now. 3-on-3 situation.
So let's see if they can game plan out of the spot. They got to be careful. So a lot of people have gotten shot. A lot of players have gotten shot over that window, popping the top. So ref going in to check the Seadogs player in the Dorito right now. And a minor penalty is going to be thrown on the Seadogs, which is going to take him and a buddy out. So it's just going to be a 3-on-1. But, the Royal City Seadogs player was coming through, did get a shot on the A-team, but they threw the towel to try to save some time and not let A-team drag that out. So great job there by A-team. So looks like it's going to be 3-1 right now.
Yeah, looking pretty rough.
So trying to figure out the conclusion of that last point between Blast Camp.
Yeah, I wasn't able to figure out who won that last point, unfortunately, but that does make a difference in what teams decide to do ultimately. I guess we might find out based on how crazy one team or the other goes off the break.
So Carolina Crisis on your screen right now in the green and black. Blast Camp is going to be in the gray and orange. So expect a big breakout here. Carolina Crisis has been acting like they're going to run. They're going to go all the way to corner, and they do make it out alive, it looks like, as he's going to look inside to try to shoot and stop. Who is that? It's Murray. So Murray, number 19 there, shooting the inside cut.
Yeah, surprisingly, this point, nobody middle for Carolina Crisis this point. However, Blast Camp does send somebody out to that snake side wedge, and just as I say that, he gets plucked out of his bunker, which beforehand Soap was looking cross to protect him from some kind of middle move, but now Soap is forced to look heads up to try and make something happen as they're now down 4-5. Crisis looking really strong this point. I don't know if they're going to be making any sort of snake side push or not, but we did just confirm that Blast Camp has up 2-0 to Carolina Crisis. So with that being said, Crisis has superior positioning and probably should be pushing the snake side if they are able, because that crossfield shot from Soap in that Dorito side mini W is not there anymore. Blast Camp making some more moves up the Dorito side, and now the backs. Ooh, just as again
Soap
I say
just
that.
gets cyclops.
That's 2 for 2, man. Maybe I'm a curse right now.
Commentator curse.
Yeah, man, getting people shot out of their bunkers, but
La Papa calling his hit across field. He does get it. So La Papa gets the shot on Eddie Dawes over on the Dorito side. So great job, great pickup there to stop that Dorito side push for Crisis.
Yeah, it's a long, drawn-out point like I would expect between these two in this situation. But I'd really like to see Crisis kind of prioritize getting into the snake. Their biggest challenge right now, which you can't see, is, again, that wedge, or that mini W that's kind of offset to the left, closer to the Dorito side, is just holding that gap. So what they really need is some kind of middle pressure, because if you get to that window in the center wall, you can actually look up over the top and pluck somebody out from that middle wall. So, again, still no pressure there, kind of surprising. It looks like Crisis loses another player. I think they lose their snake side. Nope, just kidding. Snake side corner still alive. Dives into the snake. A little bit sloppy, but he's okay. Now calling that I think he's calling the widest guy right now, which would be that juice box on the snake side. So he needs, right now, unless that juice box gets a really nice drop shot, which you can see the paint breaking against his bunker, he's the only guy to beat. If he can get that guy to go in, he goes all the way so long as Crisis doesn't let him break out in response.
And the player you were talking about there in the mini wall was Nathan Abul Hassan, who moved back to the back center bunker now, trying to gun battle and shoot some angles. There's a nasty drop shot if you could get one to hold it down right over the edge of that wedge into the snake, but I'm not sure if they realize he's in there. So just like you said, he puts that player in, and then Murray goes, number 19, into the snake here for Crisis. The Papa going into the God, which is the little Aztec there on the red side of the field.
Great camera angle. Actually, I love this right now. Yeah, it looks like they're Crisis losing the player behind the snake guy who has no idea.
Gotta be careful. Oh, what an amazing shot! La Papa gets the shot, heads up on the insert bunker, his mirror, and then pieces up number 19, the snake. Now coming down the field, is he gonna get the player? So in the process, I think in the process of there we go. Okay, so I think La Papa shot his own player as well in the process of stopping the Carolina Crisis player. So
possibly.
Great job for La Papa, stat stuffing out here, getting the kills on his field and his own team. I like it.
There's only one way to get 6 kills in a game, man. It's got to shoot somebody on your team. So
someone who, I wonder, was it It's Eckert. Eckert paid the toll there to save the day.
They won the point, so.
Yeah, so good job. Good job there by La Papa. I mean, that's kind of becoming La Papa's bread and butter, is breaking open those points, getting those amazing moves. So this isn't the first time we've seen him make that move, get on his feet, and make it happen. So on your screen right now, A-Team, Gehringer there, from A-Team, walking onto the field.
I love this camera angle right now. This live stream has just a phenomenal coverage on the semi-pro and WNXL games.
Yes, so I'm going to talk to you about that once we get through with this point, just kind of your perspective on it as we go in. So Royal City Seadogs here, and the gray and blue breaking out heavy guns, going all the way up to that wedge that we've seen so much today.
Watch the window in the center 50. If anybody's going to chop up this guy at the snakeside wedge, it's that guy. He's going to surprise him if he stays over the top too long, and he's aware of it. He decides to go for that low angle, which is also a good route if you want to bait the guy to move. But this is, again, a double stack in that center wall. Player from Seadogs
he moves out wide.
Oh,
great job.
Off the field. I can't see him. Okay, he's in the corner. There you go.
Quite an audience blocking us out right now, but he does go out well. Now he makes it into the snake. A-Team is going to lose a body in the center as well, so big loss there. Now they don't know that this snake player has made it in for Seadogs. He needs to go all the way. He needs to stop. He needs to not stop right here. He needs to go all the way. Do not shoot your gun. Now they know you're there.
Yeah.
And he shoots him in the foot.
Oh my goodness, what a great shot! Again, would have been a little safer if he'd gone all the way, but it looks like they're going to be closing out the point here in just a second.
He shot him in the shoulder on the way in. So great job. That player is definitely shot in the shoulder. So.
What an excellent run and gun from the Snakeside Royal City Seadogs player. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Rizzardo. He's one of the two Rizzardos on the team. He's done a phenomenal job.
Guy in the Dorito corner left for A-Team right now. I think it might be a 2-on-1 in favor of Seadogs, but I can't tell.
And he gets him too. Goodness. Wow, Rizzardo just clocking in here, getting those kills.
3-on-1 in that case. There's actually 2 more players back here for Royal City, and possibly even 4 I'm seeing over here. So way to close it out. Unbelievable job from the Snakeside player. Rizzardo is that what you said?
Rizzardo,
Excuse me, Rizzardo. Unbelievable job. Give that man the MVP.
I don't know. Rizzardo's got a little questionable. I don't know if that spray you can really count as rub. You know, the pattern there, not necessarily.
It looks a little.
Looks suspicious.
Yeah,
it looks a little suspicious. But hey, when these bunkers have so much paint on them, it does turn into one of those situations where you have to rely on the ref there on their judgment. So. They are doing a phenomenal job out here on their feet, 13-plus hours of the day. So shout out to them, because without the refs, none of this would be able to happen.
Big thankless job.
Big thankless job.
They deserve all the thanks.
And if you are interested in becoming an NXL ref, they're always having clinics as well. So you can log on anywhere you can see the APPA or PBLI now. Facebook, Instagram, you can see it. They're having ref clinics to become one. So come out here and help the refs out become a ref. If you want to judge them, be the first person to sign up for it.
There you go. Crisis has a pretty nice breakout again, sending somebody out to that Snakeside corner, but losing their player from the Snakeside wedge. I'm unsure what happened or who shot them, but it is currently a 4-on-5 right now. And looks like Blastcamp's holding a pretty strong cross shot again from somebody from the Dorito side. It's that baby Dorito. And now I believe Jackson Frey up there in that Snakeside wedge, controlling what's in front of him, which would be that Snakeside corner, doing a great job. Jackson, one of the really good players on that squad. Everybody on that squad is a star. Jackson, especially with his gunfighting skills, getting checked out right now. See if he got hit in his pack, but
And he is. So he is going to be hitting the pack, and he is going to be called out. That's a huge loss for Blastcamp. Jackson Frey, one of the biggest guns and voices on their team. So this field not really playing to the strengths of Blastcamp. But in this situation right now, up 3-0 is a 5-point mercy rule. Wow, so what an amazing shot. I believe, trying to see if that was Soap over the top, was able to get that shot.
Yeah, whoever's in that, getting another gun battle from the Crisis' snake corner with the guy in the Snakeside juice box from Blastcamp. Getting out of that center can for Blastcamp, again, filling into that Snakeside wedge. This is a really key bunker to slow down the Dorito side when points start to get a little weird, because you can hold that major gap, and they have a lot of pressure, Blastcamp does, and so they want to support that push and really close out the game from that side of the field. But now we see, I think it is a 3-on-4. I can see 4 players for Blastcamp. I know they lost Jackson Frey. Crisis still has a guy in the snake corner. There's a guy now up in, I think, what they call the Carolina, but it's the
tower,
yeah.
And then Dorito. So you have 3 on 4 right now. And this is the situation right now, as the time's ticking down. Again, we don't have a scoreboard for this one, but 15-minute games are played. It's a Mercy Rule 5. So Blast Camp just trying not to make any mistakes. Oh, and they do get the shot on the player in the tower. So now it looks like just Dawes over in the Dorito one, and I believe, do they still have a snake corner player?
I can't see. I'm not sure, but Blast Camp losing also their Snakeside Wedge guy, but I think it may have been a trade. I'm not quite sure. I think Blast Camp, they have all the time in the world to really take their time in this point because they're definitely in the lead right now, 3-0. Crisis concedes that point. I'm not sure how much time we have left, but they really needed to win that point to kind of pull this or crawl their way back out of this 4-0 deficit.
So good job here from Blast Camp. So close that out. So it's now 4-0. I would be, this is a situation right now with Crisis where they really need to make something happen, mount some kind of offense. Blast Camp running away with this right now, and Blast Camp, this is one of the things. If I'm in their pits, if I'm their coach, if you do have to go out on a loss, or do have to go out of the tournament, go out on a win, right?
Absolutely.
Go out on a win. Go 2-2. Feel a little better about yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh, the player. So 18 player jumped the box.
Oh, and they might get a penalty for him not getting out of it. He's kind of zoned in right now. He's grabbing that yellow flag.
So minor penalty assessed on A-Team for jumping the box and shooting. So ref picked him up, and he did look like he jumped. He was his gun was rolling before the second buzzer went off, I think. So great job there by the ref picking up that.
Yeah, something I always recommend, even at the highest level. They can't do it in the pro division, obviously, but I always recommend counting down. As soon as you hear that first beep, it is 9 seconds. You count down to 1 and go. That's really helpful to make sure you don't jump that box and know when you can lift your gun up.
Yelowowski making a big move here for Seadogs. Is he going to get both players? He maybe only gets one. So there was 2 players in the stand-up, the wall there, that center structure, but he's only able to get one. It would have been huge if he would have got both of them, but great protection and lanes there by A-Team in the back, was able to save his player. But they have a fill. So Seadogs filled it, and it looks like they're going to go over. And do they trade? It looks like they do trade out, but unfortunately, I think A-Team's player behind him may have gotten shot. I'm not quite sure.
Looks like Seadogs definitely has the bodies to finish out this point, but I think they only have one body left. Maybe somebody on the Dorito side is still alive.
Seadogs, I think, is the only player left alive here. So
good job for them pulling out that win. Now making the series a little closer, 2-3 right now in favor of A-Team, but great point for them. Again, A-Team kind of favoring that 2-man push up the middle. You can see that had that Seadogs player run through and actually shot both of those players, this point would have been a lot easier for Seadogs to win. So that's the thing you got to be careful about is even though that center wall is really strong to obviously lock down either sides of the field, it can go, that advantage can go in a split second when one person runs through and shoots both of you.
Absolutely. So you can see here walking back on, we got Adams coming on, number 24 for Carolina Crisis. Looks like Summers also on there as well. Looks like Dawes. Now, Blast Camp side, we got Soap, we got Garrity, we got LaPapa, we got Barron, and we got Eckerd on the field right now.
Curious to see what Blast Camp decides to do here, given their 4-0 lead right now. I wonder if they'll take a conservative break or try to do something kind of crazy.
So Barron shoots all the way up to the tower on the Dorito side, hitting that low angle.
Yeah, oftentimes when you take those early bites, you're trying to wait for this move, which is exactly happening, except he does live getting into that baby. But if you take those early bites and nobody sees you, it's really good to set up a trap. It looks like the heads-up shots from the Snakeside juice box.
LaPapa begging for a penalty on that one right now.
Goes in favor of LaPapa. Excellent job from him. I'll be curious to see if they push or they just decide for, let Crisis come to them. They got probably not that much time left, but 4-0, It's up to Crisis to really come back at in this situation.
So great communication there from LaPapa, calling across the rest of his teammates, letting him know where he is. Letting him know he's going to make the move out. He's going to get into Snake 1. He's going to walk his way in. So La Papa really in the driver's seat right now. They have not picked him up yet, so he can stand up over the top, and he's going to absolutely destroy the Dorito side player for 18. What a shot. And La Papa's walking down again. Wow, I mean, if they needed a point, this was it. And Soap, I think, is just going to be clearing the field, shooting everybody.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bodies alive for Blast Camp. Unbelievable performance. I really like that center move where they take that center tower and essentially set up a trap for anybody trying to make the Dorito move. Because not only is that not very expected, right? People haven't been playing that tower off the break as much, but it's also the fact that I don't think anybody saw him going in there. So when he gets down on all fours and waits for a player to go through his zone, that's a free kill right there. And it's hard to know what to do when you're in the center. Trying to push up to run that guy down opens you up to a lot of people that are already looking that way.
So Blast Camp will Mercy Rule win against Crisis, which is what they need to do. The paintball gods still maybe be in their favor. It's really going to come down to points margin. They may potentially be able to squeak in that 8th spot for the wild card based on their points margin. Math. We'll end up having to do the math.
We don't do math out here in paintball. What are you talking about?
The fact that they mercy ruled Crisis is good for them. That was their best chance they possibly could have. So we are going to go into full X-Ball here. What that means is that we will see Seadogs and A-Team for the remainder of the semi-pro match. So when a point is scored, they will switch sides. So here, big push up to the wedge on the Snake side. They take the back line. Oh, but A-Team is going to lose a body out of the back. So it's going to be 4-on-5 right now.
Seadogs took a pretty conservative breakout, but it worked out for them because I believe their center player shot up the middle and actually plucked out his mirror. So good for him. Mirror, that being the same bunker on the opposite side of the field. So good job for him. It looks like Seadogs are poised to pull a lot of pressure on the Snake side here with that Snake side wedge wrapping and trying to just dump a ton of pressure on that juice box on the Snake side.
So you know what's crazy right now is looking at the Seadogs, looking at A-Team and how they're playing. Seadogs are playing up over top of their bunkers. They're playing with confidence. I mean, even though they're down by 1 point, they still think this match is theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important to play with that confidence. You know, you'll hear a lot of players in the pits say, hey, it's 0-0, especially when the game is tied up, no matter how many points it is. But these guys have that mentality going into a deficit. You know, they're not making silly moves. They're not trying to run their opponents down and die dumb. They're really putting it together and trying to figure out what's the solution to this puzzle right now.
So great job there. Oh, Seadogs player on the Dorito side is going to take the walk, so it makes it a 4-on-4 right now. Oh, but the Dorito side player for A-Team also out, so that makes it a 4-on-3 in favor of Seadogs right now.
Looks like the Dorito side tower player is going to bump out to the corner and try to spread the field a little bit. They have quite a few guns looking Dorito way. In fact, they have 3 guns looking Dorito way, and the only person containing...
Galawaski using a pot as a weapon.
Yeah.
I don't think he realized that he plays paintball, not basketball in a situation like that, because he definitely missed the 50 center structure.
I wonder if that's worth any points, you think?
Yeah, I don't know if we allow grenades on X-Ball, so he tried to throw one, though.
Really great spreading the field right now from Seadogs. They really just kind of need to put together who is alive still and where they're looking. Right now you have a really strong cross, perhaps the strongest cross in the field to break, which is this mini wall, the Snake side wedge holding cross. And as you can see, the Seadogs player moving up to the 15, getting chopped up, unable to pull that together. But now Royal City Seadogs still trying to hold wide pressure, getting out to the Snake side corner. But now he's getting absolutely blasted by the a mini wall from A-Team.
So great fill back here into the home bunker, or that little Aztec in the back center there by the Seadogs. So right now, just to give you a kind of a clue into why these teams are playing slower, both teams, Seadogs and A-Team, are into Sunday no matter what. Right now they're just playing for seeding to see who gets the better positioning into Sunday. Moving on.
Yeah, that's going to bring out the best performance in anybody, you know. So I'm really excited to see this game. I don't know how much time they have left, but Seadogs definitely need to press the issue here pretty soon. It is a 3-on-3. I didn't love that the Seadogs left the presence that they had on the Doritos. You know, generally speaking, you ask any pro player, you want to push the advantage. In other words, flip the field. You don't want to plug the hole. But now we get some movement out of the Seadogs coming up the middle, looking for that puzzle, trying to solve it right now. He knows that mini wall can see him, but he just...
Oh, he runs into a gun. The juice box picks him up. And he loses another player behind him as well. So that is going to do it for the Seadogs in that point. So great job by A-Team, really keying in on those positions. So A-Team is going to take a 4-2 lead over Seadogs right now. I mean, A-Team looks dangerous. They look absolutely dangerous right now.
Yeah, they're doing really well. I mean, again, without knowing what the time is on the clock, it'll be interesting to see the difference between how Seadogs would play if they had, 6 minutes in this situation versus 2 minutes, right? If it's, if they're under 3 minutes, they got to pull out 2 points fast just to even tie. Otherwise, they're looking for 3 points in a small amount of time. But I can't imagine they have that much time left. Again, that puzzle is a hard one to break, especially with the Snakeside juice box looking that way. But I do think he had the right idea. The problem was he committed. He made that move on their side. So he went from the pin on the 50 up to their Snakeside wedge, but he didn't shoot at the mini wall as he did it. So he just got absolutely chopped up as he did so. Had he traded with that player, we would be having a very different conversation right now going into this next game. But again, they're down 2-4. Hopefully Seadogs can come up with a game plan that will pull them back.
Yeah, so right now the scorekeepers are having to keep the time and points manually. Our scoreboard is down. So Colt Luke out here. So I got a jersey for one of my teammates, huge Colt Lukow fan,
Nice.
and so excited that Colt was able to come over and give me a jersey for him. So greatly appreciate the community that we have in paintball. So for all of you players out there, I mean, World Cup is the best opportunity to come meet your favorite semi-pro players and pro players, W1XL players that we have out here. So if you haven't yet, make sure you stop by and come talk to all these semi-pro players. They're out at a lot of these booths that they have. So, PB Fit's out at the Hydra booth over by the JT tent, I believe is where they're at. And the Femmes are out at the the Die Pit. So Destiny, I believe, has their own booth as well. Tons of different booths popping up. It's nice to see paintball grow in such a way, having a ton of support and love from the NXL Premier Field out here all weekend long. Again, I'm Vince from Let's Talk Paintball, joined here by Steve from SVP. You can catch both of us on YouTube. He does some phenomenal breakdowns of strategies, game plans, and then I do all the breaking news for pro, semi-pro, WNXL. So happy to have you in the booth here with me to go through this, and loved your strategy that you were able to break down earlier.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This has been a lifelong goal of mine to be able to commentate a match of paintball. So I'm excited to be here. So just so the audience knows, we have 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. Seadogs again down 2 points. We'll see how the breakouts look for both teams here. But again, it looks like the A team's going to send 2 people up the middle with both covering either side. Seadogs making a huge move on the snake side of the field, taking out the center wall guy, and now wrapping on the snake side juice box, And I believe Seadogs loses 1 player, perhaps 2. There's a bit of chaos going on right now, but A-Team losing another player as well. I believe it is a 4-on-3 in favor of A-Team, but I will confirm that here in just a minute.
So if Seadogs player is able to put in this juice box player right here in the back, he puts him in, he can make the run and actually bunker out this guy in the wedge. But right now the gun battle's happening. He has to be up on his feet right now. Not a ton of time to work with. Down 2 points.
Yeah, and the tricky part in this situation is trying to figure out which of your players has the ball. Unfortunately, Seadogs losing their Dorito side player. So I was just going to say, in this situation, it might be that the Dorito needs to make some kind of effort because the snake side guy probably drew a lot of guns, but they lose their Dorito side pressure. I believe they only have 2 players left. I could be wrong. They might have somebody alive still left in the Doritos. And
does he get his hopper scalped?
He does, but I don't know if they see it.
I think we just helped the ref there on that one. So he does. So I think the ref listened to us on that one.
Hey, you know what? It happens sometimes.
He definitely got shot in the hopper.
They do have a Dorito player, but he just throws his body away as the snake side wedge holds the cross shot.
Yep, Seadogs are going to towel it.
They did have less than 60 seconds. We did hear that. Not sure exactly. They probably finished sometime around 45 to 50 seconds. So I'll be curious again. I mean, now we're at a 3-point deficit. Yes, a 3-point deficit. Yep. We're going to need to see some kind of crazy plays out of these guys. I mean, I don't know. Do you think you can win 3 points in 45 seconds?
I mean, no. so like we used to say, it's not impossible, but it's very improbable that it's going to happen.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I think what's the fastest point? 7, 8 seconds?
We had an 8-second point. The second closest to that was a 20-second point. So, but again, those things, people talk about them, but they're very few and far between. They can happen once, but them trying to do it again and again and again, it is tough. It's tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the only – maybe the only reasonable chance here is if a team draws any kind of penalty, less than 30 seconds, any penalty thrown, regardless of it being a major or minor, will cause a swing point, an automatic swing point. The game will stop, and the point will go towards the team that did not get that penalty. So, I mean, I don't see a situation in which they get 3 penalties in a row. It is paintball. Anything's possible, but I think that's a little too improbable.
So if you're just now tuning in, the game between Blast Camp and Carolina Crisis has concluded. Blast Camp takes the Mercy Rule win over Carolina Crisis. We are here in the last semi-pro set of the day, so A-Team is taking on Royal City Seadogs. A-Team currently up 5-2, about 45 seconds left in this match. Next, we'll have some great WNXL action with Destiny taking on Shield Maidens and Dallas 5 taking on Sacramento Diamonds. And we will have a special guest commentator for that, as well as Nick Carney from Level will be over here with us commentating that match. So glad to have him over here. He's been helping us out quite a bit for all the events. And he also has a great social media following as well. You find Carney on TikTok, where he makes some amazing videos talking about a whole bunch of stuff. So as we're getting into this breakout right now with A-Team, A-Team really just needs to sit back, not get a penalty. That's the biggest thing right now. Don't get a penalty. Don't give them any chance to come back.
Even if you go out on a bounce, it's safer than trying to play on at this point. Again, you're not going to probably draw 3 penalties at this point, and you don't want to draw any. So we'll see if that's what they end up doing. It looks like they're just going to hold the wide angles on either sides of the field. But A-Team, I think, has lost 2 players so far. Seadogs doing a lot of work up the middle, losing maybe a 3rd player out of the Snake side. I think the only player they have left is a corner player, but Seadogs making a 3-man push, but losing. So there is still a Snake side juice box for A-Team, and I believe a Snake corner as well. Yes, they are. They lose their juice box player, and they throw their body away.
But I think it's going to be too little too late as the 10, there it is. The game time is finished. So A-Team will take the win there, 5-2 over Seadogs. They will take the first spot in their bracket. So thank you so much for everybody tuning in. Again, I'm Vince. Let's Talk Paintball. Steve, thank you so much for hopping in. Where can everybody find you on social media?
They can find me pretty much anywhere under SVP Paintball. So youtube.com/SVP Paintball, Instagram, that's kind of the main stuff. So you can find me there. I don't do a lot with Instagram yet, but I know there are people who are asking me to. Otherwise, YouTube is where I'm posting most of my guides and information.
Awesome. So we have some great WNXL action coming up next. Again, after this commercial break, we appreciate you out here at the WNXL 2022 World Cup and the NXL 2022 World Cup here in Kissimmee, Florida. We'll be back right after this commercial break.